Hello everyone, this is your host for Peace TV. Today is November 30th, Thursday. We're at United Nations headquarters. Here going on is the 7th 1M1B Activate Impact Summit. And the topics covering energy, community, and environment. Thank you.
The youngest organizations to have a relationship of special consultative status with the Economic and Social Council. It was our first year here in the ECOSOC chamber, and we're really honored. It's a very special opportunity for us together to share with you what can happen in a future where leaders are empowered, starting from early in their lives, to identify with passion challenges that we can tackle, and to gather people together to follow a vision to produce results. And you're going to hear about their results in the presentations that they have prepared today. They have presentation, conversation, and inspiration. So with great pleasure, I will now introduce you to Swati Subal, who is our great organizer, co-founder and trustee for 1 Million for a Billion. She has planned a great agenda for us today.
Good afternoon and namaste. Can I hear a namaste from? Namaste. So wonderful to have all of you here, and especially our special guest today afternoon, Ambassador Madam Ruchira Kamboj, Mr. Mahir Nasir, Mr. Vuk Jingshang, welcome, and we are really delighted to have you at our summit. 1 million for 1 billion, or 1M1B, originated as an idea harboring an ambitious vision to empower 1 million change makers to create a positive change in 1 billion lives.
Peace TV reporters have been active at the UN headquarters since 2010, the age of former UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon. They are often invited to gather pictures and news about high-level meetings and events at the UN headquarters. We usually report live on the scene the events of dozens of countries, including the US, France, the UK, Israel, Germany, Russia, Egypt, Kuwait, Bulgaria, Ukraine, and Morocco, and the EU at the UN headquarters and their residences in New York. Our news reports have, in part, kept the international community up to date with the work of different governments so that people everywhere will know the great efforts and contributions of the UN to world peace, international affairs, and multilateralism.
It is heartening to see the United Nations, along with corporates, academia, and civil society, come together to nurture and support these young minds. And in India, I will say that we truly believe in the transformative power of youth. We recognize that the path to achieving the SDGs by 2030 is through harnessing the energy, the creativity, and the innovation of our young population. And as these students demonstrate their projects, they also present a blueprint for how youth-led initiatives can be scaled and replicated across the globe. As India's representative to the United Nations, I am immensely proud of what these young leaders have accomplished. Their work, I would say, goes beyond national boundaries. It contributes to a global narrative of hope, resilience, and innovation. They are not just the leaders of tomorrow, they are the change makers of today. And let me also here commend the efforts of the 1 Million, 1 Billion Foundation for creating this platform and for their unwavering commitment to empowering youth. To our young leaders, I will say, your journey has just begun. Continue to inspire, innovate, and lead. The future is not only in your hands, you are the future.
M1B was creating a roadmap for achieving just that. Overcoming differences, overcoming challenges, world leaders came together to tell us how we can reach 2030. An agenda that will create a world in which there is no poverty, or at least no extreme poverty, nobody goes hungry, education is available for everybody around the world, gender equality, we have less inequality, we are dealing and tackling all of the other issues and challenges that we're facing. And much has been done, but we are not on track. And I think this is why it's important when generation like yours, innovators, young people in India, but also elsewhere in the world, come together to address those challenges and see how technology can actually help us meet those challenges. According to the Secretary General's report from July of this year, we are only 15% of where we need to be in achieving the SDGs by 2030. That looks like a mighty challenge. We can either feel pessimistic and saying we're never going to achieve the SDGs, or we can borrow from a sport and football analogy. No game in sport is ever lost in the first half. You could be down 5 goals, 10 goals in the first half, but in the halftime, the players meet with the coach, and the coach gives them encouraging remarks, and this is what happened this year in the SDG Summit in September. World leaders were reminded of the promises they made in 2015 and of the fact that we have 7 years left to achieve the SDGs. And we have to double the effort, we have to double the energy to actually get us to where we need to be. Now we know that the world was impacted by COVID, by the pandemic. That has set us back. It has also been impacted by conflicts.
Dr. Swati and some of the students, as well as the teachers who came all the way from India. Welcome to the United Nations. It has been a long journey for you to come here, and it must be really tiring because it's past the midnight in Indian time. But I can see the fresh eyes of
they got present to what their purpose is. They've got present to what their career goals look like, with humanity at the center of it. They are human-centric leaders that I'm so proud of.
This panel, which is all about community and inclusivity. Each of the change makers that are about to present to you have done projects along the lines of community and inclusivity. And I hope that you're impressed with the work that these young leaders have done in furthering the cause of the SDGs. I'm going to ask each of them in turn to introduce themselves and their work, and we'll just go straight down the line. Go ahead.
I was 15 when I had my first encounter with street harassment, getting catcalled on the subway. And since that young age, the experience has continued to grow. Whether it be getting followed home from the grocery store, stalked at the airport, or groped at a concert. These experiences are not unique. Every woman has a story, and we aim to prevent that. Project Pink focuses on the people around the incident to help derail it. Bystander intervention is a proven methodology, but the idea is that helping a person in trouble makes the situation better for them. The 5 Ds of bystander intervention are distract, delegate, document, direct, and delay.
My cousin was only 4 years old when she was sexually abused by her 50-year-old neighbor.
And thus, Ohana and I, Krish, started the project Save Little Hearts, which aims to create awareness on child sexual abuse by educating underprivileged children on safe touch, unsafe touch, and response systems. We've educated over 150 children in collaboration with the Rotary Club and other NGOs across Bangalore. We've also linked a psychologist with a few government schools to visit them on a quarterly basis and reiterate the safety guidelines. We're currently developing our own animated book, which is called Safety with Super Maya, that we plan to distribute to these government schools.
The silence surrounding child sexual abuse is deafening. Many victims suffer in shame and fear, unaware that they're not alone. So join us in breaking the silence and creating a world where children feel safe, supported, and empowered. Thank you.
But my mother had the luxury of screening facilities and knowledge about the symptoms she should look out for. But 70% of Indian women, they don't. And when they hear these words, when their children hear these words, the situation is far, far darker. Project Sirona was created with one purpose: to bridge the gap in cancer screening and cancer care that is so apparent today.
Future leaders and a student of our Purpose Academy and the work that she has been doing, and this story is from the eyes of the award-winning Cannes filmmaker Amit Madheshiya. One of the big things that we are trying to do is how do we make change-making go mainstream? How can we inspire millions and millions of young people to go beyond themselves and take actions for their community? And in that endeavor, here is the first short documentary that we would like to present to you.
So currently we live in a world where 9 out of 10 lives could be saved by performing CPR during a cardiac arrest. 4 to 5 million deaths occur each year because of cardiac arrests. And I feel like to reach the UN SDG goals by 2030, we need everybody, every single person, every single youth to recognize their capabilities, to recognize their power, and everybody has power instilled within them, and they have to take this to another level. They have to combine their passion with their project.
As we all know, the future in the 21st century is all about the digital revolution. But there are millions of people who don't have access to digital skills, have never written an email, or have never even turned on a computer. And a big part of what we want to accomplish through our Digital Nagrik program is to reach those people and tell them a little bit about how to behave online, what it means to be a digital citizen. When I came here a year ago, we had just introduced our digital citizenship curriculum, and a lot has happened in the last year, and so I'd like to start with a short film to show all the events that have happened over the last year in our digital citizenship.
One million hearts, 1 billion dreams, for every ocean, for every fresh clean stream. We are the goals and we know the future's bright. We know together we will all see the light. Our world is beautiful. Let's give it all our love. Men and women equally, living with clean energy. Our world is beautiful. This is why we activate, leading with these global goals to foster peace and prosperity. One hearts unite. One, our voices strong for education, so learning lasts and lives are long. We are change makers, and in partnership we stand for every living creature all across every land. Our world is beautiful. Let's give it all our love, with well-being and healthy life, keeping commerce responsible. Our world is beautiful. This is why we activate, leading with these global goals. Clean air will be our fate. For every climate, we fight the change. For every city, we innovate. Honest work in every community. Everyone. 1 million for 1 billion. Ending hunger and ending poverty. Again. 1 million for 1 billion. Our world is beautiful. Let's give it all our love. Men and women equally, living with clean energy. Our world is beautiful. We inspire each other, working for our global goals. Unity, we all rise above, rise above all. 1 million for 1 billion. Very nicely done. Good work, singers. Thank you very much.
Problems and help the tribals to preserve their culture while not compromising on their rights. It comprises of two parts. The first being fundamental rights through health camps, government IDs, and sales of tribal handicrafts, etc. And the other of cultural preservation through awareness sessions and documentation of the cultures. So far, we've impacted 3,000 people directly and 9,000 people indirectly, and we've enrolled 1,200 people for Aadhaar cards. It is essential that we secure the rights as the tribal people are the heritage of humankind. Thank you.
Project Chapter by Ananya Narayan. The WHO says that every 1 in 5 teenagers has a diagnosable mental health disorder, but only 50% get the help they need. To put this in perspective, that would be 8 of us future leaders, but 4 may never recognize this.
But in fact, that these future leaders today will set us on course toward moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now I'd like to touch upon a little about the AI Youth Skills program that I mentioned earlier. Alright, so in this era of rapid technological advancement and evolution, it is imperative that young minds are taught how to use AI efficiently. It is essential to equip our young minds with the knowledge and skills in AI, to use AI as young innovators and creators who leverage this technology to solve some of the big global challenges using new age tools and mindsets, enabling them to become innovators and creators using AI rather than just be passive consumers of AI.
On empowering underprivileged youth, and also by sparking a chain reaction that inspires collective action for sustainable development. As 1&1B enters its 10th year of working in the community and with the youth, we take a moment to reflect and also to chart our way forward. We take this opportunity to present to you the 1&1B story, the impact compendium. The compendium showcases 1&1B footprints, the efforts and the learnings that made it possible. We also believe that as 1&1B continues its journey, building awareness and engagement among the youth for the SDGs is equally important. select artwork of our future leaders, their expression of their experience. Now, I would like to call the 1&1 team to untie the ribbon and release the 1&1 pack of titles. Also, all registered participants will receive a digital copy of the company. Thank you.